I am thrilled to welcome you back to another episode of Ingrid's World. Today we're focusing on a healthy you, a healthy me. We will learn what the community concerns are and how we can get involved. We will have a chance to discuss health and wellness with a nationally known physician. We will see how we can build an effective fitness plan with a fitness owner, an instructor who walks the talk. And lastly, our youth correspondent will give us test-taking strategies for parents and children. Yes, we have an action-packed hour, but we will have some fun. Welcome to the show, Patti Stevens. It's a pleasure to have you.
I'm pleased to be here, Ingrid. I've looked forward to it for a long time.
Well, tell us about the Office of Public-Private Partnerships.
I'm pleased to. The Office of Public-Private Partnerships is an office within the Fairfax County government that was created to highlight opportunities for corporations, civic organizations, and anyone to get more involved, to be more aware of community issues and find ways that they can get involved by contributing, by volunteering, or learning about the work of county agencies and community.
Wow. Now, you're involved in many different things, the Office of Public-Private Partnership. What's some of the latest projects that you're working on right now?
Ingrid, we work with the county agencies on what their priorities are, those things that the Board of Supervisors and the county executive have highlighted as priorities. And a couple that we're focusing on in the coming months are in the parks side of things, and finding people that are interested in supporting a really exciting championship golf tournament, the American Public Links golf tournament that's coming to be played at the beautiful Laurel Hill Golf Course in July. And that will bring amateur golfers from around the country to play. Wow. There are volunteer opportunities and sponsorship opportunities for this USPGA hosted event.
Wow.
So that's happening this summer at Laurel Hill. And on the human services side of things, we are working right now on hunger outreach, food initiatives with a number of the wonderful community nonprofits that have food programs. Wow. And on their helping people be aware of where they can contribute food or volunteer to provide food to people that may be hungry. And the one that's really a primary focus and will be for the next few years is the Community Challenge to End Homelessness.
Well, that gives me really chills about Community Challenge to End Homelessness. That's pretty powerful, because in that statement you're saying that you're challenging the community and we have a part to play.
Absolutely. That's exactly right, Ingrid. Fairfax County in 2007 began a 10-year plan to end homelessness, and it really is a community partnership of nonprofit providers that are sheltering people, that are providing supportive services, and the government that provides housing and other kinds of services, mental health and behavioral services, and then the general community, including faith communities that are doing so much to help us not just provide shelter and keep people from, say, freezing during the winter months, but really helping find what they need most, which is housing. And so that's the Community Challenge, is bringing together that partnership of the Fairfax Falls Church community to raise money, to identify housing resources, and to move people from the streets and shelter into homes of their own.
Wow. So here you have an opportunity that we can make a difference in our community by getting involved.
Absolutely.
So what are the things that we, as an individual, what can I do to help, make a difference and try to end homelessness?
First, I'd invite people to find out more about the Community Challenge. The county government website has, if you look on fairfaxcounty.gov/homeless, you'll find a number of studies, including this snapshot about homeless in our community that tells just some of the factoids that people don't know, that there are 751 families that were served last year and 108 single adults, and some real successes about moving people into homelessness. So first, learn more about the issue and find out what's going on with the snapshot. And then right now we have a very specific requests for the Community Challenge, which are on that homeless site that will talk about what it costs if you or your faith community or your civic organization, your Rotary, were interested in saying, we'd like to help insure a rental property for an individual for a year at, say, the cost of $12,000. We could shelter someone for a year with that pledge. Or perhaps you're a developer, you or someone, your employer would like to have a volunteer opportunity to help some of our community nonprofits with their projects. Or maybe on a big scale, someone in development that's looking to help develop housing, or you have a rental property that you'd be interested in providing. There are all kinds of ranges that individuals can either give, volunteer, things like collecting subway cards that can be provided to people when they're in a gap between, their immediate resources. Truthfully, this really is a partnership in that we work very closely with the nonprofit providers, including Reston Interfaith and Facets and our Good Shepherd Housing and United Christian Ministries, New Hope Housing, all over the county. There are tremendous community nonprofit providers that are delivering services every day, that are placing people in housing, and there are ways that you can get involved. But we have a tangible goal to increase to create 265 units of new housing, some for families, some for individuals, in this year, and we need all the help we can get to do that.
265 units, that's fantastic. Now, you have like a community portal. What's that?
Great, thank you for asking that, Ingrid. One of the things that I and my staff have found over the last few years as we've gone out to talk to chambers of commerce and Rotary and other organizations is they often say, and also grantors like foundations, how do we find out what are the priority community issues and who are the nonprofit organizations that are doing work in this area? Or a company recently decided to start a new grant program, and they said, could you tell us all the children-serving nonprofits that exist in our community? And I know quite a few of them, but I certainly don't know them all, and I don't know the contact information for all of them. So we started looking with the help of George Mason University's applied information technology students, and let me tell you, Ingrid, those students were sharp. And they researched for us. We said, is there a portal out there that we could use that would help us map and find and link issue information research with the nonprofits? And these applied IT students found a tool that had been developed by the Urban Institute that has a very robust mapping feature. It includes data on all the nonprofit organizations with their IRS filing, so it's actual confirmed data on them that you can search. Organizations could use it to say, what are the nonprofits in my community that are serving? Or you could search it by an issue area. Wow. So the interest in this grew so much that it's actually expanded beyond Fairfax to be regional, and it's called Connect Northern Virginia. Okay. And the URL isn't up yet, but it should be by spring, and you can find links to, by searching Connect Northern Virginia, or on the Fairfax County Partnerships.org site.
Let's go back to that.
We'll have a link for it there.
So say that again,
Fairfax County Partnerships.org, O-R-G. And when there are ways to give and get involved on our site, and we'll have the link for Connect Northern Virginia there as well.
Well, Patti, I commend you on the wonderful work that you are doing for Fairfax County. They're very fortunate to have you.
Thank you, Ingrid.
And thank you so much for being on this show.
It's my pleasure.
Welcome to the show, Dr. Bruner. It's an honor having you here.
Well, it's a pleasure to be here with you too, Ingrid. Thank you so much.
Well, tell me about your medical practice.
Well, it's funny. I thought always I was just going to be a professional bowler and not a doctor. And anyhow, it ended up, my father was a doctor. I ended up following in his footsteps and loved what I did very much. But when I was going through my residency, I went from 130 pounds to 200 pounds.
No.
Yeah, Absolutely. And, you know, I looked and I said, what has happened to this body I had? And realized that over this time period, with mindless eating, with, you know, working horrible hours, you know, eating out of vending machines, I gained all this weight. But then I realized no one could tell me really what I needed to do. Nutrition wasn't emphasized in medical schools. And so what happened is I went through my own journey, finding my own educational pathways, joining societies, going to conferences, universities all over the world to find out what to do. And over the course of the year, I lost the weight I had gained slowly. But then I learned how to help other people. So I got into bariatric medicine.
Well, now, what is bariatric medicine?
Well, bariatric medicine is helping people who are overweight modify medical risk factors that they have related to obesity, and yet obviously helping them to lose weight. But also you find when they lose weight, there are other issues, there are nutritional issues, there are hormonal issues that all need to be addressed to make the person whole.
Ah, so it's not just lose the weight, but it's also, it sounds like what you're talking about, what goes on in your mind internally.
Absolutely, because, you know, we've got to be spiritually, physically, and emotionally together. It's the whole package.
So I hear this talk, you know, about for longevity, we really need to be very careful about what we eat. We should not be eating the same way as I did when I was in my 20s. From a physician standpoint, what's your take on that?
Well, from my take, basically, we know we have an epidemic of obesity. 2/3 of our people are overweight. Really, half of the population is going to be diabetic by 2030. I mean, the statistics are astounding. So we've got to really, if we want to have quality life as we move through this existence. My dad always said, this is not a dress rehearsal. It is for real, okay?
Very wise man.
Yes, he was. And so we've got to understand, what are our risk factors? What is your glucose number? What is your cholesterol number?
Okay.
What is your waist circumference? We've got to know, what is your weight? What is, we call it your body mass index? What is your, we call it C-reactive protein? We've got to modify those factors to put them in an optimal range. When they are, now nothing's guaranteed, but when they are, that helps us to have the quality. And without quality, what does longevity mean?
Well, you know, that's the truth of the matter. You know, longevity for me would be active, doing this show would be one of it, being able to live a quality life.
You know, years ago, we were on farms, we were working, we were being very active. But we've got to take at minimum 30 minutes most days of the week to get out there and do some cardiovascular, do some weight training, because as we age, we become more frail, we lose muscle. So it's very important that nutritionally we eat in a balanced way, that we eat lean, good quality proteins. We eat lots of fruits and vegetables, use all the colors in the rainbow.
Really?
Yes, make it beautiful. Then we get all the wonderful antioxidants. Drink our water. Make sure we're drinking at least those 8 glasses of water every day. Minimize our diet sodas, our alcohol consumption. You know, alcohol, the holidays,
even
we're here.
wine?
A little bit has a little resveratrol. That's okay. That's okay. But again, the key is moderation and consistency.
Moderation and being consistent.
Yes.
All right. So you do that. How do you incorporate? I mean, you're a very busy person. So how do you do that?
Well, you know, I realized I don't have a choice, because I was pre-diabetic when I gained all of that weight. So I know that I must every day. So I get up early with my standard poodle, my buddy Jazz, and we do about a 40-minute walk and a sprint. We do that every day, and then after we finish our show today, I'm going to my exercise class. And when I eat, I've got to avoid those things that have white things in it. The white sugar, the white flour, all those things.
All the good stuff.
All those pastas and potatoes. Yeah.
Why did they have to be white?
I know. Not never have them, but really avoid them.
But in moderation.
In moderation.
Okay, but in moderation, I think that that's really key. How can we, stay in touch with you? Where do we get information?
Well, you can certainly go on my website, which is drdeniseBruner.com. There's lots of information about what we do in the practice, and I'd welcome everybody to take a look.
Wow. Well, thank you so much for being here. You're amazing.
Oh,
and an inspiration. And I'm going to tell you, after this show, I'm going to work out.
All right.
Welcome to the show, Kenni Powell. I've been looking forward to you being on here.
Likewise.
Well, tell me about your business.
Well, I'm the chief and owner of Brickhouse Cardio Club in Manassas, and we are a progressive cardio club. We're part of a small franchise in the U.S. We're a progressive cardio club. We use strictly cardio format, so I like to say that we are a non-equipment gym. Meaning that we don't use any kind of stationary equipment. We do all progressive cardio formats, meaning that in our classes we try to shoot for somewhere between 600 to 1,000 or more calories burned per hour. Meaning that we want to see results and we want to see them realized in a time frame that's satisfactory to all of our members that belong to the club. In the club, we utilize all types of cardio formats, the most popular being Zumba.
Ooh, I love Zumba.
Yeah. Zumba's a lot of fun, but we also like to specialize in the specialty Zumba formats, and Zumba toning being one of the most popular ones out there, the ones where you use the toning sticks. And it's basically a weighted Zumba class.
Wow.
So we've had huge success with that format, and a lot of energy in that class.
Now, how did you get involved in this business?
Well, Ingrid, it's funny that you would ask that. In around 2007, I started having a lot of issues with my weight. I was kind of on the end cusp of having a lot of issues with my weight. I had given birth to 2 children, and I was just very unhappy with myself. And I'd always loved to do hip-hop dance, which is my first love. And I was in a class one day, and the instructor wasn't there or something like that, and I ended up taking over the class. I just kind of moved towards the front and said, hey, everybody, let's try this. And there it was, a Group X instructor was born. So from there, I started teaching hip hop class at Fairfax County, which was my home and where I grew up as a fitness instructor, and became certified after that in several different formats, and officially a Group X instructor. So the story is great. I struggled with weight issues myself, so I know exactly where people are coming from.
Okay.
When they say, look, I need some help, I need some motivation. And that's what we try to provide at Brickhouse.
Ah, so it's not just about, just going on, let's say, a treadmill or elliptical cycle, but you really are getting people engaged and involved.
Well, everybody has a formula, but the basics of the formula are the same. It's your diet, your exercise, and genetics. So genetics, plays a role, and what we can do to counter that is our diet and exercise. Because there's some things that we're just going to be predisposed to health-wise. But diet and exercise, there is no secret. Have to have a good diet, must exercise. And your exercise program needs to have the correct formula or the correct pieces to work for your body. So you can go on a treadmill every day and burn 200 calories, 300 calories, but you're not going to see those results. And we call them the treadmill queens. Because those treadmill queens, they'll stay on the treadmill and go every day, but not really see those results they want to see. And that's because the treadmill is steady. and it's not interval, it's not challenging the body in ways that the body can be challenged. The body is miraculous.
Wow, that's fantastic. So it's about being active and really getting involved. Well, I'm really happy that you're here because, you know, when I went on your website and I looked and I saw your story on here, the progression, and then seeing, you know, you in person, I'm like, I can't wait to meet you. You know, because, you know, a lot of times you hear about fitness, but you don't really hear like the real story, and I think that that's what motivates people.
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
It's, you know, it's like, okay, this sounds really good, but does it really work, and have you actually done this?
Right, and it has to be something that you can grasp and say, you know what, I was there, I can be here.
Yeah.
Everyone has a beautiful, healthy, sexy person inside of them.
Yes.
They just need to tap into it.
Exactly,
You know?
tap into it.
Well, like you have, obviously.
Oh, well, trying to tap, but sometimes it gets hard, without question. How do, what kind of, let's say, if I'm starting an exercise plan, what should be kind of, let's say, my plan that I'm starting off right now?
Well, one of the things that you could start looking at is your maximum heart rate. And there is a formula, there's a ton of formulas on the internet you can look at it about how to reach your maximum heart rate. Because cardio is really about your heart, and it's really about exercising your heart. Weight loss is the side effect because you're going to burn calories if you do cardio. So you really want to exercise the heart so that the heart is strong and that the blood is pumping through the body in equal phases all throughout. So that's really why we do cardio, hence the name cardio. But the weight loss piece of it, it's a combination of what your program is currently and also constant change. You shouldn't stay on more than one type of exercise program more than 6 to 9 weeks, because what's going to happen is your body's going to plateau and you're really not going to see any difference. So if you know,
realize that.
Right, so you got to keep challenging the body. And one of the things that we do at Brickhouse is that we change our routines. We change our levels constantly. We're constantly changing because the body goes into muscle memory and they'll remember the routine. The body remembers the routine and then you don't see anything happen. So that's why you have to keep changing.
So you have to, you know, and that makes perfect sense.
And it keeps it interesting.
You know, it makes perfect sense. Okay, so you're going to show us a couple of exercises, and before you do that, how do we find you?
Yes, we are at KenniPowell.com. That's my name, Kenni, Powell.com. The company is called Brickhouse Cardio Club. We're located in Manassas, Virginia, right off of 28. You can find out all the information. We have programs for youth as well. We have a new hip hop dance clinic that's going to be the first airing on Saturday. We're going to have the first workshop on Saturday, so we're really looking forward to kind of pumping that out there and getting the youth involved. So please check us out at KenniPowell.com, Brickhouse Cardio Club.
Okay, well, thank you so much, and we're going to do some exercise.
Great.
Okay, excellent.
Hello there, I'm Kenni Powell from Brickhouse Cardio Club Manassas. I just want to take a few minutes to show you a few standing ab exercises, which is very important for us, especially this time during the year. What you can do is stand about shoulder length apart here, bend the knees slightly, tuck in the lower part of the glutes here, and put your arms here, the elbows facing out towards, and tuck here. 1. Bring up the abs to where it's a nice crunch. The same thing that you would do on the floor, except you're doing it standing. And what you can do to increase the intensity here is increase the pace. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You do this till exhaustion, and then you will reach the maximum caloric burn in the abs, as well as toning.
Welcome to the show, Isis Wallace. It's a pleasure to have you here. Well, tell us a little bit about yourself.
I'm in 3rd grade. I'm 8 years old, and I go to Louisville Elementary School.
You do? Well, I got so excited about, you know, when you and I were talking a couple of weeks ago about test-taking strategies. And so what do you want to tell parents about taking tests in children?
I think that they should study with flashcards and they should the parents should test them with their flashcards.
Really? Now, how does your family help you when you're getting ready to take a test?
Sometimes, they read a question to me, and I have to guess the meaning of what the question is.
Really?
The answer of the question.
Wow. So do you watch television too? And